Well, we're at Harvest Haven and we've got about 15 ewes and about 35 lambs on the pasture this year. And I explain a couple of things that we're doing differently than other lamb producers. Number one, first and foremost, there are absolutely no chemicals being used on any of the land the sheep are grazing on. And we're never using any drugs, antibiotics. We're not using dewormers, not using any of that stuff on the sheep. We're also not using topical pesticides for keds in their wool and things like that, parasites. We're doing everything naturally, and we do that by managing the grazing patterns of the sheep. So there's a lot of grass-fed lamb out there, and they'll take the lamb and they'll just put it in a great big pasture, and those sheep, you know, they're pooping here and they're pooping there, and then they're grazing those areas again as the regrowth comes up. And what we're doing differently is that we graze an area for a week, and by the time any of the parasites hatch, we've got our sheep moved somewhere else. And all summer long, we're chasing sheep around the farm to different paddocks so that we have fresh grass. And that does two things. One, it eliminates the need for anti-parasite drugs, and it also makes for really nice tender lamb because they're constantly grazing on the freshest, greenest grass on the farm.
I have a funny story to tell you about sheep. I was raised on a cattle ranch. My dad herded sheep when he was a young man, hated them, just absolutely hated them. When my brother and I were little kids, we'd see these cute little lambs in the pastures, and we'd want one. And my parents were really good to us. They got us a lamb. We called him Lambert, but I don't think my dad was too happy about it because I remember the lamb would never stay where he was supposed to. He wouldn't stay in the corral because it was made for cattle, not sheep. He'd get out and run around, and I remember my dad running across the prairies with a lasso, trying to lasso this sheep. And my brother and I are crying because we think the coyotes are going to get this sheep. Dad, you've got to get him, catch him, bring him back home. And he did. But I don't know what happened to that lamb because he kind of disappeared. And I know that we didn't eat him because neither my mom nor dad liked lamb. He just was gone one day. That's my lamb story. Well, as you can see, they're fat little guys. They get to roam out in the pasture. They don't receive any kind of vaccinations or growth hormones or anything like that. Our lambs are, like everything else on Harvest Haven, happy, healthy, and friendly, and scrumptious.